Welcome to the network, the educational podcast designed to help our community navigate the four areas of life that I like to call the funky four corners. I've had the opportunity to interview some of my favorite people with one goal in mind: to help the spiritual, physical, mental, and financial health of our people as we navigate this thing called life. Subscribe to the network. You never know, you might need it. And we're back. Listen, y'all, in the words of the great American poet, I first came to know him as Common Sense, but most of us know him today as Common. Thicketa, thicketa, thicketa. I'll tell you the rest when I see you. Listen, y'all, I got a great guest today. June is Black Music Month, okay? So it's only right that we bring somebody on to the show that is outstanding in multiple facets when it comes to Black music. Okay, listen, today's guest is Chandra Hampton, also known as CHamplifestyle. She has transitioned from an award-winning dancer to a DJ, captivating audiences in and beyond the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. She grew up in Baton Rouge, so she knows she's got those Southern roots when it comes to music, that blues, that soul, that funk, that jazz, that gospel. And then she traveled around the world, which opened her up to new sounds, new rhythms, enriching her musical range to one that is without bounds. She has energized crowds from college homecomings to intimate brunch settings. CHamplifestyle blends her love for rhythm with her taste in music, drawing people in with her lively energy. Listen, y'all, within DC's bustling music scene, she shines, it's hard to say that, as an authentic and creative DJ, inviting everyone to enjoy a musical journey where anything is possible. So I want to invite all of you onto this journey where anything is possible. I need y'all to welcome to the stage Chandra Hampton, also known as CHamplifestyle.
That was an amazing introduction. Like, I believe in me at this point after hearing you introduce me that way.
Listen.
I love it.
Ain't nothing but good things gonna happen on the podcast tonight. So listen, I want to do this. Let me educate the people just a little bit, because this is the educational podcast designed to help our community navigate the funky four corners, right? So let me educate y'all just a little bit first about the history of Black Music Month. Okay, so on June 6, 2000, the U.S. House of Representatives passed Resolution 509. This officially named the month of June as African American Music Appreciation Month. Here were the words of that resolution: recognizing the importance of African American music to global culture and calling on the people of the United States to study, reflect on, and celebrate African American music. Okay, now this had already been in the work for decades. Okay, so a couple of Philly natives in the 60s, Diana Williams and Kenny Gamble, had lobbied the White House, okay, for a month recognizing the contributions of African Americans to the music of the United States. They believe a month should be dedicated to the legacy of African American music. And it paid off. In 1979, President Jimmy Carter set June as Black Music Month. In 2009, President Barack Obama officially renamed it as African American Music Appreciation Month. Potato. Okay, so we gonna stick with Black Music Month. So I just had to educate y'all just a little bit on the history of Black Music Month. So Chandra, how are you today?
I am excellent, and even more excited that we are on this subject, because music is, to me, the lifeline of our culture. I think it's important that we're recognizing it. So I feel like I'm in the best place that I can be right now in this moment.
Listen, ain't no better place to be than on the network.
Okay.
The educational podcast. So listen, so for those who don't know you, I want to
Yep.
give you the opportunity to introduce yourself to the people. So go ahead and tell those who are watching or those who may be listening a
Yeah.
little bit about Chandra Hampton.
So I am a Southern girl through and through, as you said, from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Spent my formative years there, graduated from Southern University there, and from there I went on to move on and kind of like live my life in a way that I think most people probably should, going new places, new surroundings, things like that. During my time away from Baton Rouge, I really created opportunities to explore music through dance, through travel. Life kind of threw me a curveball, and I battled breast cancer back in 2018/19. I beat that, obviously, by the grace of God. Music actually helped me to get through that, and I will talk more about that later. And now I'm at this point in life where, given what I've been through health wise, I see life through a new lens. I don't think there's anything that I can't do or shouldn't try. I have a positive outlook on life. And I just believe in living my life to the fullest and living it out loud. And here we are today.
That is awesome. So if you want to hear the first part of Chandra's story. So this is not the first time she's been on the podcast. This is actually her second time
Right.
on the pod. So we had her back during COVID. It was like October 2020, I think.
Yep.
I didn't realize it had been that long ago.
Yeah.
So episode 18, the biggest, baddest, best dance instructor in DC. Yeah. So y'all go and check that episode out. You can't watch it, but you can definitely listen to it on Apple or Spotify, wherever it is you listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
Man, listen, was voted DC's best dance class 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
17, 18, and 19.
Yes, sir.
So she ain't a scrub, y'all. She is not a scrub. Not a scrub. Okay.
Not at all.
So Black people are not a monolith.
No.
And neither is Black music.
That's right.
So I guess we can start here. Talk about the transition or the crossover from dance to DJ. I gotta hear this story.
It's a good one. It's a good one. So here we go. So I'm glad you segued here, because now folks are listening and know that I was a dancer. Clearly, my work ethic dancing was something serious for me to be able to win this dance class. But what a lot of people who didn't know about me, 3 times, thank you for that correction.
3 times.
What people didn't know is, for me, I didn't grow up a dancer, right? But I did grow up a lover of music. So music has always been the center of everything for me. If I never danced a day in my life, there was still going to be music there. So going back to the breast cancer journey, and a lot of folks who are listening probably have known someone that's gone through it, so they may have an idea of what it does to your body. Even if you beat breast cancer, there's still a series of medications you're on for years. And so my body suffered a little bit. My joints painful there, fatigue. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, I was grateful for my life, but in my mind, I'm like, so what do I do now if I can't continue to dance? Like, how do I continue creating joy in my life and hopefully giving joy to others if my body is wreaking havoc on me from treatment? So towards the end of my breast cancer journey, I had a real talk with myself, and I says, okay, if I'm never able to dance at the level that I danced before breast cancer, how do I make sure that music is still at the center, at the core of what I do? And I had thought about being a DJ before, but I'm not going to lie. I was just kind of like, I'm probably too old. That was my thought before. I'm keeping it all the way 100 with you. I was just like, most people learn to DJ when they're younger, their early 20s or their teens or early 20s. I'm like, I'm over 40. I'm like, who starts DJing over 40? Now, this was before breast cancer, right? Okay. Again, in the midst of that journey, you know, I'm having these real conversations with myself, and I'm like, okay, I love music so much, you know, that I really want music to be a part of my life in some capacity. So once I got
Yeah.
over chemo and radiation and my body bounced back the way, I was like, there's nothing I can't do. I was like, if my body can survive that, there's no reason I should be putting roadblocks on myself as to what I would like to do. So it literally just washed all of those doubts away. I bought a little cheap little controller, and over COVID, when we were still social distancing, I taught myself how to DJ. Once I learned a little bit more, I took a couple classes out here in DC with Quicksilver, who has a DJ school out here. Then beyond that, I was spending time on Twitch. If you're not familiar with Twitch, it's a platform initially made for gamers, but over the pandemic, when DJs didn't have anywhere to play, that was a place for them to be able to go and DJ and get a following there. So I started meeting different DJs and just getting support from everybody. And before you know it, it was a year had passed. I literally had learned how to DJ, connected with people. Then I started spinning out here, different places in DC. I've did a gig in Denver with my friend DJ Kimani. I just came back from London. I did an event out there called Soul Train Live. I saw none of this coming. I saw none of this coming. And now, and obviously, as you saw earlier, I stream on Twitch. So for the folks who can't see me in person, they can actually see me live there. And when I tell you, it's been one of the greatest joys of my life, because I go in with no expectation, strictly just wanting to be involved with music because I love it that much. Music does so much for me and everybody else. For example, myself, I just love it. So for me to be able to play, but then the joy it brings other people. So it's like a two-way street. So it's been probably the biggest blessing outside of beating breast cancer. Becoming a DJ has been the biggest blessing I've had in the past few years.
Listen, that is an awesome story. Yeah. So I'm listening to you.
Yeah.
And I guess to hit a couple of things. So in my mind, growing up in the era that we grew up in, I'm thinking like, man, who doesn't want to be a DJ?
Right.
I wish I could DJ. And it's also one of those things I look at it like, I think DJ is like timeless. The DJ is timeless. The DJ is ageless. I think all you have to do is well, you got to have some rhythm, of course,
right?
But to have a love for music.
Love it enough. That's it.
Just really have a love for music.
Yeah.
Man. So then the next thing I thought of was the Japanese concept of ikigai. Are you familiar with that concept?
I've heard ikigai, but you have to remind me of the concept.
Okay, it's a Japanese term that blends two words, iki meaning to live and gai meaning reason, right? So it translates to reason to live.
Yep. Oh,
right. And it's got like this Venn diagram, right? And it's got all of these bubbles, and it's got like 4 of them.
Yeah.
And one of them is what you love. The second one is what the world needs. The third one is what you can be paid for. And the fourth one is what you're good at.
Come on now.
Right. And then right in the middle where they all intersect is ikigai.
Yep.
So that's what I was thinking of.
Ooh.
Man, that's such an awesome story.
Yeah. And you literally nailed it, because to be able to achieve all those things. And I think the part that I appreciate too is the fact that I get paid for it. That's bonus for me. I love it that much that I never even thought about like, oh, I could really make money doing this. I was just like, I just want to be connected with music in some way. And if it's not dance, it has to be like, this has to work for me because I want to do this all the time. Yeah. And
it's taking you across the pond to London to start.
Yeah.
To start. Okay, so let's do this before we dive too far in here. So if people want to follow you, because people need to follow you, where can they find you?
So mostly I'm on Instagram. I do my most updates on Instagram, and my Instagram is CHamplifestyle, the same way the name is spelled. I'm on Facebook as well, but I won't lie, I'm not as active. I'm active, but not as active there. But if you go to my Instagram and go on CHamplifestyle, I am posting on there constantly. Okay. So that's the main way to catch me.
There it is. We put it right there. on the screen. And then listen, man, I had the great pleasure of I had to make sure I dropped in today on the Twitch.
I'm so glad you
okay,
did.
I'm like, okay, listen, and I've seen you. I knew that you were DJing, right?
Yeah.
I knew that you were DJing. You know, and I follow you on Instagram, of course. So I've seen some things, but then I'm like, okay, hold up. It's Sunday.
Yeah.
Man, I gotta plug into the Twitch because it's Sunday. I need to hear some good music on Sunday.
Yeah.
So for those of y'all, this is where you can find her on Twitch right there.
Yeah.
All right.
Champ Lifestyle DJ on Twitch.
Champ Lifestyle DJ, right? On Twitch. So that is where y'all can find this illustrious soul, Champ Lifestyle. Man, what a great story. Okay, so go ahead.
I was going to ask, how did you enjoy the set today on Twitch?
Oh, I loved it.
I'm so glad you popped in. I didn't even know you were coming. That's why I was so excited.
Listen, those left turns. Listen, we're about to take a left turn. I'm like, let's go. Let's go. Listen,
I love it.
I was trying to find a music shirt that I could wear for today's episode. And I'm digging, man, I'm going through all my old shirts, and I had a Souls of Mischief shirt, and I was like, I don't want to wear that one. I had a Mob Deep shirt. I was like, man, I probably should wear my Mob Deep shirt today.
Love that.
You know, I should have put it on, but I ended up going with this one, just kind of overall, just, you know, little Martin, Malcolm, Harriet, but you know, just because of them we are. Okay, so check this out. Y'all, she did a 3-hour set today, okay? So the fact that she is here blessing us on the pod today is we are honored that you are here today because she did a 3-hour set. Okay, so tell us the story behind the name Champ Lifestyle.
So the interesting thing is it's a double entendre, right? So obviously when we think of champ, we think of winner, we think of someone who triumphs, who succeeds. And it means that also, but the primary meaning behind Champ Lifestyle is just my name. So it's a combination of my first and last name and lifestyle. So basically what it's saying that I am giving you or showing you or helping you to experience my lifestyle. And if you want to think of it as a winning lifestyle, you can too. So whatever meaning it needs to be for you, you can take that, but it's literally just my lifestyle.
Listen, definitely a winning lifestyle because not only are you winning in life, you have beat cancer.
I have. And can I just add one praise report when it comes to that? So usually after you beat cancer, you're on meds for 5 years or 10 years, depending on the severity of your cancer. I'm in year 4 of the meds and beating cancer. So next year, August will be the last month I will be on any medications. I will be off of anything having to do with post-cancer care, literally done completely. So that for me is when I can truly say I am done. And I'm so excited about that. So excited.
There it is. Praise report. I need to get some little buttons in here, you know, where I can have the applause going.
The little applause buttons.
So yeah, we're gonna level up though. We're gonna level up.
Right. That's right.
All right. So dancing. So of course you got the Southern roots, right? And we talked about the jazz, the soul, the gospel, you know, the things that we grew up with in the South. But dance took you beyond the South.
Right? So far beyond,
So Black people are not a monolith, but neither is Black music.
At all.
Talk about Black music not being a monolith.
Let me tell you, I'm going to tell you the best way I can show you how it's not a monolith. So during my dance fitness days, you know, I'm also a traveler. I love going to other countries. And what I would do for my classes, I would travel other countries, take dance classes that's native to the country where I am, simplify it, bring it back. Every single place that I went, and I kid you not, every dance class I went to, they let me know that these dances that are authentic to the country came from Africa first. That includes Colombia, that includes Cuba, that includes Puerto Rico and many other places that I went, they all talked about how Africans or slaves or whatever the region was, how Black people got there, they brought music with them. And for me, it just really opened my eyes to the fact that sometimes we can box ourselves in with our thinking and thinking that this is all we have with regards to music. When I went to Puerto Rico, they have different styles of dances where they're still doing the native, like authentic African way of doing certain dances to certain types of music. I remember in Puerto Rico, Cuba, they showed me this instrument called a clave, and it's literally like a wooden instrument with a stick, and you pop 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 pop. And they talked about how that rhythm came from the Africans that made it over to, like, it was fascinating, so fascinating. And I can't say, I can't even express to you how proud I was to be Black in that moment. Just because it's like whatever we thought we contributed way more. Like we do a lot here in America for the culture when it comes to music, but our history of our music goes back beyond any of our lifetimes because of what our people brought over to every single place they went, not just America, but in Cuba, in Colombia, in Morocco, all these different places where it's undeniable because there's always a little hint of it still there somewhere. You'll listen to it and it's like, that sounds tribal. That sounds, the beat, the drums, the way, the music is arranged. You can tell that it's music from the African diaspora. And so there's no way in the world that we can just have soul music. We can just have jazz. We can just have hip hop. We have Latin music is Black music because it all came back from Africa. So it's almost like an honor to me to even speak on this because it's like we think about what our parents gave us with music, the soul, the jazz, the zydeco, like all the music. But it's like in Puerto Rico, it's the same thing. They're giving them the historical sounds that that their ancestors gave them. And so if that's just the places I went to, I can only imagine the other countries that were influenced as well that I haven't experienced. So it's impossible for it to be it's impossible. It stretches too far to be a monolith.
That is so good to hear.
Yeah.
That when you go, the pride of the connection is still in those places.
Yeah.
This is what we need. This is what we need, people of African descent.
Yeah.
So in the European Union, you can, if your country is a part of the EU, then you can just travel and work anywhere.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what we need. People of African descent. That's what we need. Right. So that we can go to Colombia, so that we could just go to Cuba, Puerto Rico, and because we need to travel.
Yeah.
Right. We need to meet our cousins.
Yes.
We need to, we need to meet our people. My sister, she was just here a few minutes ago. She left. She was telling me about, she works with a lady who I think her family is from Martinique.
Martinique. Yep. I've been there actually. Yep.
And she's telling my sister, she's like, oh my goodness, you look just like the people from Martinique.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, we got to go. We have to go, but there's so much to Black music. There's so much to Black people. There's so much that we don't know, especially for those of us who have not had the opportunity to travel, to these other places and see and connect. The most beautiful thing. So I have not yet traveled the totality of the Caribbean and South America, and I have yet to make it to Africa. But I've been to Jamaica twice.
Yep.
And the first time we went, my sons were there with us, and my youngest son was like, Dad, I've never seen you so chill.
Yeah.
And I couldn't explain it, but it was us.
Oh yeah.
It was us, and it
Yeah.
was so peaceful. It
Yeah.
was so peaceful. It was so peaceful. Oh man. All right.
I'm gonna challenge you to go to, when you make it to the motherland, because I went to South Africa and it literally sent chills down my spine when I got off that plane and the way people welcomed us there by saying welcome home. It
Uh,
was just, I will never,
uh,
I will never have an experience like that ever in my life again. I didn't even know what to do with that. I almost wanted to cry, because everyone knows the history of, Black Americans. And so
yeah.
just to go back and touch the soil of where my ancestors came from and to be welcomed by them saying, welcome home, it just, yeah. So
Listen,
yes,
I promise you, I would cry because
you
I'm
would.
emotional. I'm
Yeah.
emotional now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm emotional now, and
Hmm.
and I can't imagine. So I teach African American studies, right? That's one of the
Ah,
classes I teach,
okay.
and it's actually, I call it African American discovery,
Mm,
because so many of our children don't know.
yeah.
They know very little,
Yeah.
about Africa.
Hmm.
All they know is the little bits and pieces that they've been exposed to
Yeah.
from Western culture.
Yeah.
You know, um, by the time we get to the end of the school year, the students have so much pride.
Yeah.
They feel so much better about taking the class, one, because they've connected with each other
That's right.
in that shared experience,
Hmm.
and then they've learned about things that they had no idea about.
Yeah. It's important. It really
It
is.
is it is incredibly important. All
Yeah.
right, but back to music. Let's get back to
Okay.
music. Okay. So you mentioned something. You said Latin music
Yes.
is African music.
Yes.
How is African music Latin music? How is Latin music African music? Talk
So
about it.
the specific dance, and I'm going to tie the music to it. The specific dance, I'll talk about Puerto Rico because that's the one where there was the most connection there. There's a dance called bomba, and the bomba dance is very, very historical. It's literally African. It's literally African dance because it's drummers and a dancer, and it's the dancer having a conversation with the drummer. So as and it's freestyle. So as the lady's dancing, the drummer is trying to match her movement. And so normally in dance, the drummer is the lead and the dancer dances to the drum beat. With bomba, it's different. You as the dancer take the lead and the drummers have to follow you. And so when I saw that performance for the first time, I started asking questions. I'm like, what is this? This is so, it's so, you can tell that it's something so indigenous and rich, because I know
Mhm.
salsa, I know merengue, I know like the more modern type, but I had never seen anything like that. And so that's when they had the conversation with me that this is the music and dance that were brought over from by the Africans when they made it over to Puerto Rico. And it's literally just a conversation between the dancer and the drummer. So the drum beat in a lot of Latin music, it's an evolution from that style of music into what's current. And then we can also look at the fact that
Mhm.
reggaeton is
Mhm.
obviously pulled from, reggae, from hip hop, and it's just like a mixture of. So again, Black music is inserted there. And it's literally not one genre that we can think of right here where Black music was not an inspiration from it. I
That's
mean,
right.
it just doesn't. I mean, country, jazz, you name it, all of it derives from some part of African or African descended or American music, like you name it. But the one in Puerto Rico was the one that it just really floored me. And Cuba is pretty much the same. They have something similar where it's like the drummer and the dancer, and they talk about how, the women that came over at those times and they wore like the long skirts and then the head wraps, the head ties, and this uniform, and just the way they would dance together, just expressing themselves, having a communication through dance. I mean, you name it. It's just so authentic and so real, and it does so many things outside of entertain, right? Because Black music is not just for entertainment. And what I appreciated most about learning some of these stories in these other communities, it's we think about the fact that slaves, when they came over to this country, they used music to escape mentally. They use music to communicate with each other. They use music to stay sane. They used music to, soothe and comfort. And it's like, it's almost like it was medicine for us. So it's like, again, the entertainment piece is literally just like the smallest portion of what Black music can do.
Yeah, and you have to know and understand some history, right?
Yeah.
Because what historians will try to do is they'll try to say, well, we don't have written records of some parts of Africa, so they must not have any history and they must not have been civilized, right? But you mentioned it, that music was, amongst many things, it was also a form of communication.
Yeah.
Right. The family histories were told through music.
Yep. Absolutely.
So you have to understand that. So all of the things that you mentioned, music does those same things to us today.
Same
right?
thing. Yep.
The same things. I always think about one of the things I really, really like about the Christian Bible is that there's all these stories in there, right? And there's this story of David playing the harp for the king.
Yep.
Right. And whenever he would play the harp, it would soothe the king, because basically the king was he was a madman.
Yeah.
Right. But then David would play this harp and it would basically calm his spirit.
Yeah.
Right. So music is and has always been all of those things.
Yeah.
And we have to really understand. We have to understand it on a much, much deeper level.
Yeah.
Because we could talk about the sound and we could talk about the energy and we can talk about the beats and the rhythms and the vibrations and what those things do to our spirit and our soul. And that's why some music is called soul music.
Exactly.
And it's so soulful because it does all of those things for us. Okay, so reggaeton, jazz. You even mentioned Zydeco, salsa, merengue, all these different types of music. Do you have a favorite genre to spin? Well, let me ask about dance first. Did you have a favorite genre to dance to? And then do you have a favorite genre to spin?
I love this question so much because it's almost like you already know that my answer is I know my answers. So dancing, Latin, hands down. And Latin was my favorite genre to dance to. And it's because there's a sensuality with Latin that I really like. Not sensual in the sense of like dirty sensual, but sensual in the sense of body confidence. It's like if a person can move their hips, it makes them feel more confident. And I wanted people to have joy. So for me, Latin music always had that. So that's why that was my favorite to dance to.
What is the importance or significance of being able to move the hips?
Oh, let me tell you. So as a woman, right? Black women, our bodies, we've celebrated our bodies in the Black community. So having hips is something that's positive. And so it was almost a way to like accentuate your femininity. So it's like if you can dance with your hips as a woman, it just almost was the embodiment of womanhood, right? So it's like you're using your body to tell a story and to inspire or just to show confidence, and that's, again, for me, majority of the people in my class were women. We have men too, and men can move their hips as well because I love to watch men dance to Latin music. Let me tell you, there are some fire Latin dancers out there. But the significance of the moving the hips and everything, it just, again, it's the sign of the femininity and you're accentuating your feminine body and just getting that across in your dance. And so Latin music, they're big on using the hips and the femininity. And so for me, dancing hands down Latin for me was the absolute best or favorite of mine. As
Before you talk about your favorite genre to spin,
yeah.
I work with a yoga instructor. She likes yoga and music and all of those things. And she was telling me that she had come across some information dealing with twerking.
Okay.
But she was talking about the hip movements, right? And that it was either trauma or stress was released through the hips.
Oh.
I wish, and I'll say I'm probably, it's gonna be about a month before I see her.
It's all right.
But she was telling me about that. She was like, so it's looked at one way, from group A.
Yeah.
But if we really understand, like you said, like when you said sensuality, I thought about intimacy.
Yeah.
And then the word you use, confident with the body, was even greater, because when we talk about, loving others as we love ourselves, we can only give our best to others, that we have to give. So if we don't heal and release trauma and pain and grief and all of those things, then we can't help others.
You don't have much to give. Yeah.
Right. So that's why I asked about the hips, because I was just kind of wondering if you had heard that before as well. All right. Favorite genre to spin. What is your favorite genre to spin?
So it changes. I will be honest with you. It changes. Right now, I love to spin soulful house. Soulful house music is such a feel-good genre. So it mixes in the songs you know and love, or even if you don't know the songs, it's a soulful voice singing, right? But the beat is more of a house type beat. It's a faster BPM, or beats per minute, as we call it. So it's like it's all danceable. So there's literally, I played one today that was Luther Vandross, right? But it was in the house version. So you get to hear Luther's soulful notes, but you get to dance with it. You can take songs that are meant to be slower and they're made into house songs. So that's soulful house. For me, I love that one because it never fails. Whenever I play it, people feel good. You can see on their face that they're just in love with the moment, in love with the environment, the fact that they get to move and dance and sing at the same time. For me, it just encompasses everything. So the dancer in me loves to see people dancing and have a good time. I love hip hop as far as like my favorite personal genre of just what I love. But to spin, I love seeing people dance to house music. It just does everything for my soul to watch people having a good time.
So I guess in the South, that's kind of, I got a couple of songs on my playlist. It's like Adele over Bounce.
Pretty much. Right? It's the same concept. The absolute same concept. Okay. Yep. Same concept.
Got some Adele over Bounce, some Frankie Beverly and Maze over Bounce.
Exactly. That is just literally the same thing. Yep.
Okay. So because I actually had this in my notes. House music, right? Yeah. House music, the go-go scene in DC.
Oh yeah.
Was when you first got to DC, what was there some culture shock there with the
I wouldn't say culture shock. I wouldn't say culture shock. Honestly, I think I had more of an understanding than some people would have, because when it's go-go is regional. I mean, obviously there's some songs that have made it, nationwide, worldwide, but it's the beginnings of go-go is DC, and it's the heartbeat of DC. Coming from a place where we have something similar, right? To have bounce music, to have zydeco music where it's regional. So I understand the importance, or understood the importance of, having and respecting an environment's, music that's almost like the signature for them. So for me, it was more so like, it wasn't a shock. It's more so I want to know more about this go-go. Like Chuck Brown, the godfather of go-go. Again, it's really still all soul music. It's just the drum patterns are different, but it's no different to me than bounce music for us to, other regions that have their signature sound. It's literally just the region they're in and maybe a drum pattern change. But for the most part, it's all soul music. still.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. All right, check this out. I got a few more questions I want to ask you. A few more questions.
Yeah.
Okay, so talk about so moving the crowd, right?
Yeah.
Is there an art/science to move in the crowd?
Oh yeah.
Okay, talk about it. Talk
Absolutely.
about it.
So it's and this is, and let me start off by saying respect to all DJs, because if you think DJing is easy, you're wrong. It's probably one of the most challenging things that I've ever had to do, because in dance, I come up with the choreography, I come up with the songs, and we're doing what I say we're doing for class that day.
Yeah,
DJing does not work like that. So you come in and you DJ, and you start off by playing different songs to see reactions, right? And based on the reactions, that's the lane you try to go down a little bit more. So moving the
Okay.
crowd is definitely an art and a science, because the science part is paying attention to behavior, and the art is being able to take what you've learned and translate that into the right song to make sure people are moving and dancing. So it is definitely an art and a science to move the crowd in DJing, but it's fun. That's the challenge of it that I really like.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Have you had have you had a house party moment? Somebody bumping the table? Have you
Oh
had one
my
of those
God.
moments?
No, because I'm not gonna lie. I am so protective. This stuff is not cheap. Let me tell you. I don't know if you've ever Googled how much turntables cost, but you can't get near mine. I'm sorry. Like, so I actually had people, I had people over here. And the way I had it set up, I have an island in my kitchen, and then the living room is this way. So I had my
Okay.
setup on the island. So that way, y'all stay over there, and we don't have the DJ equipment on this side, because we can't have nobody bumping the table. No.
Okay. No, I don't want to ask that one yet. I'm gonna come back to that one.
Okay.
All right. So check this out. Let's say I want to be a DJ. Okay.
Yes.
I'm in my 40s.
Okay.
And I want to become a DJ.
Yes.
Give me 3 key pieces of advice to get started. What you got for me?
All right. So the first thing you need is music. You have to have, and your collection doesn't have to be extensive. For me, if you have a solid 50 songs, right? A solid 50 songs, start there. So that's number 1, music. Number 2, get some kind of equipment. Doesn't matter what kind. Some people are on turntables, some people are on controllers. It doesn't matter. Whatever you would like to do.
I'm taking notes.
Right. So get a controller to start. And number 3 is probably the most important advice for anybody. So listen close, okay? You have to practice constantly. You cannot be a DJ without a work ethic to get it done. It does not happen overnight, and it does not happen fast.
You will be a DJ with no gigs if you don't practice.
Right. You can show up with your music and your equipment if you want to, but if you don't know how to blend 2 songs together and transition them to where they sound smooth together, then it's no point there. So you need your music, you need your equipment, and you need to practice.
All right, y'all got that. If y'all watching or listening out there, if you want to be a DJ, you need music.
Yes.
You need controller and practice. All right, check this out. So I'm planning an event.
Yeah.
Right. I need a good DJ, because I've been telling people about it. We're gonna have music. We're gonna have a good DJ. So give me some tips for choosing a DJ if I'm planning an event.
Yeah. So that's a really good question. I think word of mouth is the best way to go, right? So if you have friends who know DJs, ask for recommendations, because there's a lot of DJs out here. You can pick any DJ out of a hat, but that doesn't mean they're going to be right for your event. So if you're looking for something specific, it's better to say, hey, do you know of a DJ that'll do this type of gig with this age group, this type of music? Because different people have different strengths. Personally, I don't play for young people. Just being honest. Like, if somebody's having a 21st birthday, I'm not your girl, because I don't because I know my audience. My audience are people who are probably over 30, music lovers, because I like to be a little bit more creative in my sets, where there's DJs who are just good with playing what's current on the radio. So get the advice from a friend. Or if you see a DJ, or like if they're at a spot where you hear them playing and you like what you hear, ask them for their card. So to me, that's the best way. You have to either have heard them yourself or seen them yourself, or someone should recommend them. But if someone just says, I'm a DJ, and you hire them from your party, it's a huge risk you're taking. Huge risk.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right, let me do my little commercial right here. All right, y'all, listen up. Before we go on to the next segment, I need you to like, subscribe, sign up for notifications. Let's see if you're watching on YouTube, okay? If you're listening by podcast, I need you to go to iTunes. That's if you're listening on Apple. Give us a 5-star rating. If you're listening on Spotify, follow or whatever you can do on Spotify. I probably need to be a little more educated on that, okay? But like Chandra just told us, word of mouth. Man, tell somebody about the Network Podcast, the free educational podcast that is going to help you physically, mentally, spiritually, and financially. That's what we call the funky four corners of life. Listen, y'all, we have not only the biggest, baddest, best dance instructor in DC, she has turned into one of the biggest, baddest, best DJs in DC.
I love it.
Listen, music is her ikigai. It is her life's work. It is her life's purpose. She has become one with music. And I'm so glad that we have CHamplifestyle, Chandra Hampton, here on the network tonight. Chandra, I got a game. Are you ready to play a game with me?
All right. I think so. Rubbing my hands together. Let's do this.
I love doing this. I love doing this. Okay, so listen. We're going to go rapid fire, okay?
Ooh, okay.
We're going to go rapid fire. I'm going to throw some things at you, and I want you to give us an answer as quick as possible, okay?
Okay.
So tonight's Funky Four game with CHamplifestyle is rapid fire. Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
What song never fails to get the crowd moving?
Before I Let Go, Frankie Beverly.
Vinyl or digital?
Ooh, digital for me. I'm new school.
Okay. Okay. Most underrated artist that you like to spin?
Ooh, Raphael Sadiq.
Ooh.
Raphael Sadiq.
Listen, I still play Instant Vintage at least once a month.
That album is insane.
2-3
so
times, good. Beginning to end.
Exactly. So you know.
Man, yes. Okay. Craziest song request.
Ooh. I did this birthday party, and this guy asked me to play We Like the Cars that go boom. It's something and something, and we like the boom. I was like, sir, I'm not playing that. I was like, sir, I'm not playing that.
Wow.
Yes, that happened like a couple months ago.
Never in a million years.
I looked at him so crazy. I was like,
Tifa,
sir, no.
Was it Tifa and Bunny?
And I like and we like the boom. Man. I was like, sir, absolutely not.
Oh wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, Here we go. What's your go-to karaoke song?
TLC Waterfalls.
Okay, don't go
That's
chasing.
One of them. Yeah, that's one of them. But that's one of them. Yeah.
All right. To date, what's been your favorite gig?
Oh, London. Easy. London. Just recently, a few weeks ago. Incredible. Man. Yeah.
I'm just so jealous right now. The good kind. Like, ooh, I gotta go there.
Right.
I gotta go there. All right, here we go. Last question in rapid fire. One artist, dead or alive, that you'd love to remix.
That is the hardest question by far. I will say, just because she's just one of my favorite voices ever, and I never get tired of her, is Chaka Khan. I just love her. Love her. I can never get enough of Chaka Khan, ever. I could play her I almost do play her in every set. Some way, I think she's phenomenal.
You played her in your...
I did.
and I heard it, and I was like, man, that's what's up. Because when I went to the gym this morning, I was listening to Chaka Khan's Tiny Desk concert. And I'm
Oh,
listening to it, and I'm just like, man, I love Shaka Khan.
Shaka. It's hard not
Man.
to. I mean, she's incredible. She's incredible. And still,
Yes.
voice is still incredible. Her voice just moves my soul. So I try to incorporate her in almost every set. I really do.
That's what's up. That's what's
Yeah.
up. This is how I know that today was meant to happen. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So that was rapid fire. So we got 2 things left before
Okay.
we got to get out of here. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is good medicine. Okay. I need you to prescribe to the audience, the watching and listening audience, something that was life-changing for you.
Yeah.
That you believe would also be life-changing for our audience. We call this good medicine. So what do you have for us?
So in the vein of Black Music Month, you know, I'm going to stick to the music topic. And because Black music is not a monolith, I encourage people to broaden their horizons, to really think outside of a box and try to learn more about music and its significance. So I'm going to prescribe this book by Questlove right here. It's called Music is History. And it just talks about the fact that music literally can also serve as like a time capsule for different eras in life. Like when you think about different moments in your life, you might not remember all of the things you did, but you remember the music of that time. So for me, that just shows the fact that literally music can be like a timestamp to life. So I think the fact that Questlove wrote this book, and I'm not done reading it, but it's going to open up your knowledge of music in a way that you've never imagined. So I encourage people to learn about music and its history to really get the full understanding of the contribution of Black music.
That is so good. And music, for me, for sure, is my time capsule and time stamp.
Yeah.
I can hear something and I can tell you, oh yeah, this was sophomore year of high school.
Look at that.
And then, you know, and then I can put a year to it. And I can tell you, man, I remember we was at such and such. And then this song came on right here. Listen, I love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely. Man, music is so good.
It is.
All right, y'all. Unfortunately, this brings us to the last segment in the podcast. It's called You Didn't Ask. This is where Champ Lifestyle, you give us one piece of unsolicited advice that nobody asked for.
Yeah.
But you are going to give it to us anyway.
Yes.
What do you have for You Didn't Ask?
That thing that you are afraid to do, that thing that you've been putting off, that thing that you don't think you can accomplish, I need you to do it. Because I'm a living testimony that you are far more capable than you realize. And that sometimes the only thing that stands in our way is our own thoughts. And again, I'm a living testimony of the fact that I saw something, I decided to go for it, and strictly out of the passion and the love I had for it, God has saw fit that I'm making, you know, my presence known. I'm getting success in the thing that I would do for free. So never be afraid or never think it's too late to try that thing that you're afraid to do. That's my advice.
That was You Didn't Ask. One piece of advice that you didn't ask for, but I promise you, you needed to hear. Yeah. Listen, everybody, this is the network. We are the free educational podcast. We've got one goal in mind. We want to help the spiritual, physical, mental, and financial health of our people as we navigate this thing called life. Listen, y'all, subscribe to the network. You never know, you might need it. Until next time, for Champ Lifestyle DJ, Chandra Hampton, my name is Michael Prejean. I am your host. I need y'all to make love the culture. Peace.